Good morning. Well, I should say good afternoon. Welcome to Risk Neutral Trading Globex edition. Quite an ending to the RTH session. Jamming higher as fast as they could get it in that last closing swing trade. Here's a closing swing trade. Straight up through the IB again. And off we go to higher ground, in my opinion. So, yeah, quite a day, and I don't know why. We couldn't figure out any reasons for that, but definitely up to something. So, let's start with the basic idea here. This is my virtual trading journal. The idea is that everything that's on my two main trading screens here is captured on the video, and my voiceover provides insight as to what I was thinking at that moment. And that's how this virtual journal is complete, and it is then streamed to YouTube and stored, so for complete transparency and accountability. I only trade structured trades or vetted, statistically vetted trades, setups, and I only trade live, and I only trade on stream. Those are commitments. You'll never see a recording or a replay, and I never take trades off the stream. That's why this Globex is actually happening. This Globex stream is happening because I wanted to just determine if there were some interesting opportunities in the Globex session. So in order to be able to discover that, which is like yesterday, I needed to have a stream up so that if I saw an opportunity, I can take it. And then that's all part and parcel with my commitment. And that happened yesterday, for example. Having said all of that, I'm not licensed to provide, nor do I intend to provide trade or financial advice. This is my journal, which I share freely and openly for accountability and to get the conversation started. Any kind of, comments, hopefully will help. And we have an interaction, a pretty active dialogue all day long on the RTH session. And it's been really helpful to me, and I hope other traders. So here we are. Let's see, make sure everything's streaming right. I was busy reading something and realized it was 1700. Now this stream is going to be for the Globex Open, which we just had right here, right now. This is Blue Boy Junior, because it's the Globex, but this is just a vertical line right there, boop, that I put on the first print of every session. The way I use that is if I glance left and see Blue Boy, I know that's the first print, and this is always the inside market, the current market, the right here, the right now in this column. So if I see, right here, there's Blue Boy and there's right now, I know that the entire Globex session is in view right here. And that's the idea. And as it goes on, it increases, right? So the screens here are Bookmap and IRT. This is my primary charting software, and this is my execution software, and I'm just kind of digesting what was going on here. It was I even made a screen snap of it. This is pretty interesting. Look at this. This is 3 o'clock. That is the cash close right there. Crazy, huh? This is 74.77, and this is 74.15. This is 60-something points across both IBs and out the other side. Why? I don't know. there's no good news, financially or economic. There's no development, no really downside either in the Iran story. So tomorrow is going to be a bunch of economic news, so that might be part of the posturing here. I don't know. We're going to watch and see, and we're going to base any trades today and every day on data. So let's get thinking about it. We're open. At the moment, the orb high is the first level formed because there's the high and here's the low. So we can start by bracketing those. And during the RTH session, I have this automatic from IRT pushing over here to Bookmap, but I'm going to leave the opening range low out, or the orb range low off, because first of all, we have the IB down here, and I don't think it's going to quit going down. The opening range that I work here is a 1 hour opening range, the same as the initial balance in the RTH session. Maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong. I don't know. You got to start somewhere, huh? Gotta start somewhere. I'm pretty sure of that. Just getting the news. Oh, excuse me. Wow. I'm just getting the news all set up and everything ready to rock here. Making sure that the setups are in business and the strategies are forward testing. Okay. All right, so in order to trade with Bookmap, the first thing I have to do is activate the trade control panel with this padlock button up here and select an account. These are 5 trade copying over 5 Lucid accounts, and I'll explain why I have parked my live AMP account to do this in a minute, but I want to get this all set up first. Whoa, I don't want to do that. Okay, the reason for that is I'm experimenting with these orb trades in a different session, number 1, and number 2, I'm also working on a hedge trade management, which a system or technique which replaces the stop. I never trade without a stop in place. Fixed stop. Never move the stop away from, sure, I can very definitely trail the stop up behind price. Never move it away from the entry. And I never trade without one. And this hedge philosophy, or this hedge idea, is from one of the day members, partners here. Anton, and it's so it's what I'm doing, and I want to be sure that I have, the mechanism and the procedures down. So if I use the Lucid account, it's the best return on investment as far as I can trade the right sufficient numbers, right? Which I didn't put. Yeah, I got 5 lots of. Okay, I can put I can trade the normal sizes of trades with literally, the minimal amount of risk, and still has profit potential and payout potential. So it's by far the risk to reward this exponential is huge, and that's the reason I'm doing it. Okay, I need to get the hedge going over here now, set that up. This is the hedge instrument. Oh, I can't stop yawning. I am sorry. I just need some exercise, I guess. This is the mini. So again, pick the account, pick the number of contracts, close that. When you close this button again, when it stays green after you've activated the account, the trade panel, you can close this and it stays green, and you get to cancel all, close all, and the metrics at the top on both sides. There you go. So now the hedge, I can now implement the hedge if I need it. And again, it's to replace this. It is in replacement of the stop, or substitution for the stop, at the same exact level. The 12-tick stop, then, and I'm going to be using the hedge methodology. Then there would be an add at 12 ticks and a stop, and the hedge instrument, in this case the minis, would be entered the opposite direction from the primary trade at 12 ticks. Oh, there you go. Yesterday was quite pleasant. Oh, good. Now we can start moving that down a little bit away from the IB low. IB high, I'm sorry. Just to move it around, get it where it belongs and not overlapping. There we go. All right, and then now we're going to start looking at the, I always forget to do this. Always forget to do that. Okay. So we've applied the hedge system. If I'm going to implement it, if I'm going to implement a trade. The primary instrument is the micro, and then the hedge instrument is the mini. Okay, and we're just ticking along here, ticking back down again into the value area. Now, just as with the initial balance trade, this is a wait and see, do your homework, get all the data pieces in line. The orb that I'm watching now, that I'm using now, is 1 hour. So, just be aware, track data, do the setup, make sure everything's running everywhere for the first 45 minutes. There's the only possibility of some maybe front run, depending on these probabilities and the statistics, but not anywhere before 5 or 10 minutes before the hour, right? Say 50 minutes in. And in the case of these orb trades, these night orb trades, I am not doing the front run at all. So any front running. So there we go. I mean, we'll look at the data and then we'll decide, but I'll talk about it. But you get the idea here pretty quick. It's important for me to point out that I believe in the KISS principle absolutely, and I deal with no indicators. I have on either my IRT or book map, I work with volume, price levels and price action, and probabilities. That's it. There's no indicators over here. This is the VWAP. This is the POC. POC is just the price at which the most contracts have traded so far in the session. That's all. VWAP is volume weighted average price. I guess you could call that an indicator because it is calculated, but there you go. And the same over here. There's no indicators or anything over here. There is a and I try to keep all the colors consistent. So this yellow line here is the developing volume point of control, just as it is over here. The purple boy is the VWAPs, just as it is there, and then the red line is the fixed point of control, which in IRT, which there is not one in Bookmap, and the red line in Bookmap over, or the red horizontal line, would be the mid for the Globex or for the RTH. So we have the now this is a full session. Let me point something else out here. In all of the IRT windows, in the header there is the instrument, the chart type, the periodicity, and the session. There's this chart name too, but doesn't mean anything to anybody but me, so what? And you can see in all of them it's the case. Now this is my micro tab, which is micro ES, micro NQ. the high time frame micro composite chart for the micro ES, and this is the market profile. I do not change the market profile from mini to micro. I leave it in the minis. I do change it from full session to RTH session. The other tab over here is all minis. Same exact layout, configuration, all the same. But we're trading minis or micros, so let's get back over here. Here's our higher time frame, which is my higher time frame chart, which is again micro ES, daily periodicity, and the day session. So each one of these charts represents one full RTH session day. Wherever price overlaps, I draw a volume profile, just like here. Didn't overlap down here, no volume profile yesterday. Now they overlap today, so we start a new one. So this is a new micro composite volume profile. Get a POC, micro composite POC. We have a high and low volume node, which are represented by the red and green lines, and they push to bookmap. So do the session prices. Pretty simple. And that's how it goes. Over here, we've already gone through this, I think, but these are the micro composite column values that I enter manually. Here is the full session volume profile. Started plotting just now at 1700. RTH volume profile and delta, which will reset tomorrow morning at 8:30. This is the statistics column, which is really important for me. We go through every morning in the pre-market. I go through and determine the statistical open type for that day, and then determine all the statistics that are going to be applicable for the associated price levels. And these are the session prices for my RT, which push automatically. There's no dome here anymore, but there is because I moved it. It was too much space. I have the most important columns, however. This is the ask and bid, full level 2 for all levels. Resting liquidity, limit orders, however you want to look at it. And this is the price ladder. Well, there you go. 20 minutes in. So, here we go. Now, let's start looking at the data. First things first. The data analysis tool that I'm using now, or trying to lean on more, is this Hedgeful. And what is this doing now? Log in. Okay, why is that? Okay. Okay. They must have redone something. So, this was the just closed Chicago cash. Now we're going to look at the Chicago Globex 5 to 7. Standard report. Why does it want? Oh. Almost made a big mistake. Got to go to the opening range, not the initial balance. In this case, they're both essentially the same because they're both 1 hour. But this gives me crap every time. Okay, let's try this one then. Okay, we'll do this one. So the ES, what I was just saying, they're both 1 hour, right? So you could use either one. There's the contract. There's 1 year. Let's look at 6 months to get started. Standard report says that we should expect normally this time we should expect 20% single breakout, 16% breakdown. This is double break and no breakout of the orb range. Let's do something that's a lot more meaningful. Let's look at the days, and we are now trading Thursday. Oh, big difference. You notice that? Watch this. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Isn't that amazing how the day of the week has such impact? I think so too. So in 6 months, we've only had these frequencies. Not very many. Total of 15 days. Which is kind of surprising. And because 6 months, there should be 26 instances, days here, right? A year's 50. There's 52 Thursdays in a year, not 15. So that makes me question. Let's see what 1 year is. There better be 52. 34. Something's wrong. I think something's wrong with that. Well, let's keep going for now. So here's what we would expect. Single breakout. Breakdown means long. Breakdown means short. Double break and no breaks. And then the next thing we're going to do is step into the rejection, which is the real important bit as far as I'm concerned. And that has to do with, first we need to set these back to 0. Thursday, save. I think we can go back to Globex now. I think it'll work. Let's see. Yeah. That's crazy, isn't it? So, what this says is that if the orb high is formed first, there is a 31% probability that the orb high will break out first. The orb low will be the first break, is 47%, and the other way around. Well, what we've done is we have very definitely so far put in the orb high first, haven't we? We can, well, let me finish this. Okay, here's our opening print. There's the high, and here we are putting in new lower lows. So very definitely, at this moment in time, could very definitely change, no problem. We're putting in the orb high first. Now let me introduce you, and I'm sure you know better than I, TradingView. I had never used it before. I think it's kind of amazing. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. And the reason I started playing with it just recently, within the last month or two, if you subscribe to Edgeful, you get all of these indicators built by them, free to use on TradingView. Pretty cool. What I use are, and I had all kinds of stuff open today because I was going with Anton and Magic. We were doing all kinds of stuff about VWAP, and Anton he's a user of Fibonacci's. And let's get rid of these market profile charts because that's not going to do us a lot of good at the moment. And let's get the proper Edgeful beauties going here. And let's get this one set up for our dashboard up here in the corner. Okay, so we are already 18 3/4 points open here on this IB, or this OB opening, OR I should say. And then this will take over for Asia, and the IB is of course in the morning. So this is a real slick tool. I am really impressed with this thing. And I was pleasantly surprised how easy it is to manipulate indicators, blah, blah, blah. It's really great. Oh, yes, I turned off something that I shouldn't have, I'm sure. The sessions, I don't want to turn them off. There we go. Oh, what is this? That isn't what I want. This is VWAP. I don't want that. What I want is the sessions. Where did the sessions go? What the hell did I do? Delete the sessions? Oh, that's pretty stupid. I must have deleted it by accident. It's not the ATR, it's not the VWAP. Not the dashboard. Well, okay. Show you, boss. Let's get over here and look for the sessions here. Ah. Where in the Sam Hill did the sessions go? Well, I hate to have lost my mind here on there we go. I was going to say, wait a goddamn minute. There we go. Okay. So this is the sessions indicator. And I only use the sessions, the opening candle, and the IBs. All right. So there we go. Now I feel better. And there's no session now because this is the Globex, right? The Asia session will start over here in an hour. Quite clearly, we put in the session high, orb high first. That was first formed. And we're trading down here, and we're 18 and, basically 19 handles wide. So it's easy to watch these things. We can use this to determine the ending zone very clearly. We see what we're doing in relationship to the rest. I really find this application really helpful and really informative and easy to use. So there you go. So that's where we are. We're going to sit here and wait now. I have in IRT, and I apologize for this in advance, but until I'm sure that I'm going to like this stream and trading in this session, I have not coded these zones and levels as I have for the initial breakout, or the IB, initial balance. Sorry. So what I do now is manually, as you see, put these stupid blue lines around here every place. And once we get close to, the end of the hour or the end of the session, when these lines will be locked, I will add the zones here, which are just they are just percentages of the total of the opening range, and it's 25, 15, 25. That's all. So it's easy, and I'll show you how I do that with a tool I made in Excel. And if I'm going to do this on a regular basis, I'll code them up so that they push across to IRT or to bookmap like the initial balance ones do in the day session. So let's get back to Electric Avenue. Well, I don't know why that song pops in my head whenever I say that. Reminds me of Staniel Key in the Bahamas. I'm really not liking this right here a lot. I don't like the way it changes when I change those things. So Globex, 5 to 7 p.m. my time. We can test this out real easy. We can go over here and there's 5 and 7. I mean, I already know that, but we're going to do it again. This is UTC 5. Let's drop this down to 9, which is Tokyo. Boom. So sweet how it works, right? All the times changed, but everything else remains the same, which why shouldn't it? So what's the time? It's 7 to 8. That would be the 1 hour, right? So if we go back here, over here, so 5 to 7. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the initial balance, or the opening range is 7 to 8, and the session would be 7 to 9, 2 hours. So this is UTC 5. If I go up here to Asia, 7, where did it go? 7 to 9, UTC 9. This should be exactly the same data as this. It's the same session. It's just looking at a clock on this side of the world, we're looking at a clock on the other side of the world. And that really frustrates me. Watch these values. 60, 75, 68, 47, 31. Huge difference. Beats the hell out of me. I mean, obviously, it's got to do with the way the application is filtering the data. Filtering the data. But, because those are pretty big differences, right? These are pretty big, pretty significant. Let's go back here. Where'd I go? Where's Cat? Where did Globex? Okay. Well, this increases a bit. This one decreases completely. Did I not just see that? Yeah, this widens out. So this comes down to nothing. This goes up a little bit as far as the first break. Not a lot of change over here, but that really irritates me. And my problem is I don't know. I would like to use the correct time zones here, right? For the sake of the stream, and everybody can just understand, nobody knows what UTC plus 9 is unless you live there, which I did for 11, 12 years, but this makes quite a difference. So anyway, let's leave this on Chicago Globex and let's go forward and propagate. We have a continual VPOC migration lower, and price is continuing lower, which is not a big surprise, I guess. We have turned the corner and we've got 20 minutes left. So things are moving here. You see how we keep extending the low? Obviously the orb high remains the top. We've got several minutes left to go till 8 o'clock right over here. At which time we'll be able to put in those zones and do all that. the reason I'm not going to do it now is obviously the zones are a percentage of the range. Well, if the range keeps changing, stupid. Boy, those. I'm going to take a screenshot of each one of those things and send it to this help guy, Brent, who I've had quite a conversation with about different stuff, and say, okay, explain this to me. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure there's an explanation, and I just am not seeing it, but, you know, I want to know what it is. Thursday? The other one's Thursday. And I'm using Thursday here because we're trading tomorrow. We're trading on Thursday's time. That's what this Globex would mean. Asia, Globex, same thing, 7 a.m. in the morning. That is Thursday. Oh, it's now Thursday in Tokyo. So it's the correct day. And the orb time frame is 7 days, so that's, you know, don't let that be a confusion. What we'll be looking at is right here. We will be expecting a 31% probability to break the high so far, and 43% to break the low. Now, this ending zone can have a big impact. And there's something else we can do, which we can factor in the orb size. In other words, the width of this, the size of the opening range. And a real handy little tool for that is, because they ask for it in percentage, that's the orb percentage right there so far. And I'm assuming it's percent of ATR, I would guess, or, you know, maybe all the orbs that have happened in history. I don't know, but they ask for it as a percentage, not as ticks or points. So we're just kind of hanging on here right now. I don't have any other brilliant things to say. I'm just trying to get myself awake and organized and make sure everything's happening right. I'm going to switch the time zone on Trading View back to Central Standard. Yeah, here we are. That's really quite the move into the close, I'll tell you. Look at this. This is 1500. This entire move happened between the cash close and market close in the overtime. The entire depth range. On my daily stream, in the RTH stream, we were talking about it right up to the closing. I said, now watch them run this thing up, and with a closing swing trade, I had no idea they were gonna. I mean, of course, had no idea they were gonna take it all the way across the range. It was amazing. But boy, it took off like a rocket. What's typically is a squeeze, short squeeze. At one point, this candle, at 1500, this was red down here. And they closed up, ended at 1600, that's where the end was at. They didn't get clear up to the wick, right? Because you can see that right over here. But, you know, substantial movement based on nothing. Based on nothing. So yeah, this is trading. This is what I do a lot. Wait. Patient. When a setup starts to form, then that's the time to get moving. Oh boy. All right, we got 10 minutes here. I'm not going to do this calculation because they keep pushing these lows down. It's bad enough that I'm lazy and haven't done that. Those indicators, it's I try to do all that kind of nit-nat maintenance-y kind of junk on the weekends. Part of my homework, right? crank off some squats and get my blood pressure, my blood moving here. Well, in anticipation of the end of the orb here, which is the 1800. The next piece of data that's going to be added to the filter is the ending zone, which is this data right here. And the way that works is it's percentages. The way it works is you start opposite the first level formed. So in this case, we're going to be going from the low. 0 to 25%, 25% to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100. And the closing price of the last bar in the orb range sets the zone. So if we close right here right now, that would be the 25 to 50. Up here would be the 50 to 75. That's simple. But it makes one hell of a difference in the probability when we go over to the other side. Okay, we're coming up to 55 here. They keep banging on the bottom, don't they? Suckers. The bums. just in case you're not part of the stream a lot, but you're not really familiar with Bookmap, once the trade control panel is activated, you've got to be hypersensitive about this active data column. Any place in here, you see how the mouse pointer turns to a $sign? Any place in there, or even if you come from in there and over the price and think you're going to move the price ladder up or down, still the $sign. You will immediately, if you left click, if I left click right now, there'd be an immediate market order long right here, whether I meant to or not. And yeah, that's the voice of experience talking right there. And they keep going, so we'll just wait. The range is, or the the orb as I have it set up is 1 hour, so it hasn't been 1 hour yet. We got 3 minutes left, and they can keep pushing it down as far as they want. One thing I will do though is jump over here, and we can. So our orb high is 86.75. So the thing we need to do next now is get all set up for the hedge. And so far the long is 74, 86.75. This is how I calculate the zones. And this is the hedge tool. Let me make sure that's correct. Where did my little guy go? Oh, I think I can also do it over here. No, the levels won't be here until it's set. That didn't make any sense. Wait a minute, let's check something here. Okay, da. I thought I had this worked out, so I was printing prices over here. It does for the initial balance. I thought surely it would work here and stop calling me Shirley, right? That sucks. Now maybe I'll have to switch around to anyway. So what? That would be handy, and I'm trying to make it as easy as I can. 86.75. And we'll see what we get from there. 30 seconds, so we're getting pretty damn close here. Right now it's 66.25. Kind of hard to tell, actually. Price is right on it. Now, this is going to be kind of annoying if they just, the minute we turn, yeah, and there we are. And if they break this out, that's going to be annoying. I'm going to say 66.25. I think they might have already broke it out. Son of a bitch. Gun. Excuse me. So I think it's already been broken. So we're going to go with 66.25. It doesn't look right. It looks like 66 is better. More the case, doesn't it? Now this is going to be goofy tonight. I can see that right now. They are real excited to get this thing over with. So 66. We can't see it because of the current prices right on top. Okay. Let's get over, let's check up here. No, there are the prices, okay. 65. 65.75. Oh, it even got lower down than I thought. Okay. So those are the prices. That's cool. I thought that was good. And I'll show you something else. Hold on. 65.75. Okay, watch this. Yes, the IB low has already been broken out. So we've already met the stat. You know, ugh. That's a pretty big hurry now. I don't like to hurry. So we're going to have 74.65.75. And we've got 8150. I'm just going to slap these on. 8150. Horizontal line. Huh? Can't possibly be that. Oh yeah, it could be 8150. Jesus, it's way up here. $81.50, 76 quarter. And 7100. So the orb low, 25, 50, 75, and up the chain we go. Now we need to quickly get, or I need to quickly get back to the data. And oh yes, that's one. Well, we already know that 0 to 25 is the range because it closed right on the bottoms. So we're going to go like that. Boom. There we go. Now what a change, huh? Did you notice that? So the orb low was broken first, and it was 100% probability, and guess what? It's already over with. So the next thing we need to do as far as trading this by common sense, the orb low was taken first, so there's a 52% probability that we are going to retrace to the 25% mark. There's a 22% probability we'll retrace to the 50. So typically, I would look for a, interpretation somewhere in the middle there, or so say maybe IB low and the VWAP for the short. The problem that needs to be thought of in this in this opening range breakout here is oftentimes in history, looking back at these other ones, we'll break out, we'll trade lower, and then fall out straight to the roof in Asia when Tokyo comes on. There we go, down and up we go. This was yesterday. I took this retrace right here, down, or up here, down, and it worked great, but had I been a heartbeat late, I'd have been hammered. Until all the way, and I had to stay up all the way out here to 10 something to get a profit. Not good. Not in my plan. And this, of course, was a flaming disaster. Tokyo, the orb, trade up high. I got tired of this and said, I got to go to bed. I'm tired. And then this happened. So there you go. Shit happens, right? All right, there we are. Here we are, current. What I mean by knowing that orb closing ending zone, this is the ending candle right here, because this is the last candle to have a close within the opening range. This candle opened in the opening range, but closed outside of it. So there you go. And now we can get back to the business of actually trading this mess. Now, a word about the hedge. The way that works is, let's just take an arbitrary point. Let's say we're going to get 7,300 up here. That would be right at this BPOC migration, this price check, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's just pick 7,300 and let's say short. So we jump back over here and we go 74.73. 5 contracts, MES, short. Notice that this is all set up. And if you change the short to long, it changes the relationship and the price levels and all that noise. The stop is at 12 ticks. So here's the short. Oops. What am I doing here? I didn't put short in there yet. There we go. Here's the short. Didn't click enter. Here's the short at 7,300. 5 contracts. I know everybody listening to this, their trades always go in the direction of profit. They never hit it stops, but sometimes mine actually go the other way. Let's pretend that we come all the way back to the stop, which is 12 ticks, 3 points, and we hit 7,600. Price hits 7,600. What will happen? We will short another 5 micros, bringing the total to 10, which improves our entry to 74.5, and we short, and we go long, a mini, which, as I'm sure you know, there are 10 micros to 1 mini. So this is a straight hedge, and there's 6 ticks involved. This price can go to the moon. It can go to the floor. There will never be more than 6 ticks risk in this configuration. When that starts to change is when I take off one leg or the other. Then it can become volatile. But at this point, after the hedge is on, I could go to bed and let it run all night, and the worst that had ever happened is it would be 6 ticks for 10 contracts. Or one mini. Now, we're not there yet. We haven't gotten up to our price, and that's not too ridiculous at 73. That's the VWAP, just above the IB high. It's the price check at aisle 3 on the POC. Yeah, I'm a little bit apprehensive because I just don't understand what they're doing. Why we sell off, and then in the final moments of the final hour, they run it all the way back across again. Now they've brought it down. And a lot of times, I've noticed, let's see something here. A lot of times, I don't want you to do that. Okay, look at that. And then there's a close. So what do? We bring it down and then we reload and off we go. Why, I don't know, but why did we do this? A squeeze? Is this just kind of catching their breath until Asia opens, and then when Asia opens, we get a long and off we go? That's very possible. The problem with the data is that the opening range low was taken first. So this is the probability of the pullbacks. Now, there's a different way to look at this, which is 52% probability we are going to trade from here to here. And in this case, it's 4 handles. 66 to 70, right? No, 71 is 5. So you could look at this as a mean reversion. Now, it's not a mean reversion because of the, it is because of the, remember, this is the full session volume profile here, and this is the just past RTH. You could trade mean reversion from the level in, rather than from the outside. You know, you need to have a trend day to be going from the outside, or from the inside out. Mean reversion is inside in. And I'm not really sure what to think at this point, to be honest with you. What could they, would they, might they do? I don't know. Now, there's a 52% probability that we'll get to here. That's just a coin flip, right? That means there's a 47% probability we won't get there. We'll just do this and then go the other way. I mean, that's the data. I've also had an idea. I mean, I've had the thought that on these mean revert, oh, look at us go. So there we go. Now, it never got to the 50, never even got close to the 50. Will it continue to sell off? I don't know. But there's no trigger or anything for me, so I stand here and watch. And I forgot to do something, which I kind of do for the sake of the stream, and that is right there. There's the opening range formed right there, and here was the breakout, and now here we are. In other words, I've just recreated with all these magnificent blue lines this right here. Nothing more. Why would I not think about, as I said, the alternative, which is the mean reversion? To be honest, because of the context. What is the context? Remember Blue Boy over here? And the active data column? This is right here, right now. This is the first print. What are we doing? Well, we got lower highs, lower lows, and the context is down. So mean reversion is counter context because it's long. Frankly. I mean, this is how I think. I hope I said this earlier. Maybe not. Maybe nobody will ever hear. But the purpose, the methodology behind the stream is I capture everything on my trading screens, these two primary screens, which are Bookmap and IRT, or, Trading View or Edgeful. Whatever I've got going on this one here. There's Edgeful. There's Trading View. And yeah. And my voiceover provides insight as to what I was thinking at that moment, which completes all pieces, right? It's what I'm looking at and how I'm reacting and what I'm thinking about what I'm seeing. So that is the complete. I don't know of a way to get a more complete journal. I suppose the more complete journal would be a video of me talking, so that there would be facial reactions or something silly, but yeah, it ain't gonna happen. That'd require clothes and a bunch of stuff. No, but you know what I mean. So that's the point of that's the technique behind this stream and how it's evolved, and I really like it. The reason, and I stream to YouTube for transparency, accountability, and one little selfish piece is because it's streamed to YouTube, I can review the stream on any device. And these are stand-up desks, and so far I've been standing here about 9 hours. 7 hours on the RTH stream, and now here we are, and this will be another 3. All told, I'm in the office here on the trade desk doing stuff in the background and whatnot, about 14 hours a day. So being able to review the stream on something else is welcome. Welcome. Very welcome. Now, if I was a good-looking gal, I'd be, laying in bed, something provocative, making millions of dollars trading on my laptop. Isn't that what you see on YouTube? Don't they all do that on YouTube? But alas, I'm not. I'm not doing any of those things. I'm not any of those things. And it looks like price just came to a freaking halt, doesn't it? When is the last time you saw that thing move? And there's no delays, there's no anything else. So this could be a dud, what can I tell you? Or it may break loose in Tokyo. And I'll tell you the reservations I have about the Asia trade, the Asia orb, is that getting a trade on in there, you've got till 4 in the morning, and I need to figure out a way to have that bracketed reasonable for my ability to stay awake and do it. A couple of things with the hedge. It's not a bracket order or an OCO, and it requires management. Now, I could always get to a situation if I was gonna have to put one of those trades on, in I guess where I would use a bracket order. The multi brackets, and have the usual stops and scale targets, something out and then a runner, which are all OCO, so it's either going to hit the stop or the target and everybody's going to go flat. I hope I better have made sure. Yep, both the brackets is up. Stats are on. Okie dokie. Now, if I was really anxious to be trading this, I could have interpolated or interpolated this. 54% we're going to get here. So if we get about 50% up into this bottom zone, get short. What is that? The thing you got to be careful about is the scale. So what's that? 68. Let's say 68. So let's make it 68. And here's 64. So that's only 4 points so far. That's not very much meat on the bone. The typical way that people think about these trades that I've been able to understand, I hope it's clear. Oh, man. I hope it's... I was going to say I was doing all these pictures over here, and I realized I'm on the wrong window. Sorry. So this 54% we're going to get to here. Retrace. So it's reasonable that, you pick about halfway across here and get short. Put your stop up here at the 50. But what's the meat on the bone? You're looking at an upside down risk to reward ratio, which I don't think is a good idea any way you look at it. And I don't do that. So what some people would do, especially from the short side, is they wait for the 50% retrace. And then they target below. And in one case that I know of, at least so he claims, because he never trades live, so I don't really know, they put the stop at the other side. So that's a 1-to-1 risk to reward. And there you go. And then they've got some other idea cooked up where they flip the other way. And he has it figured out that he's got the same risk to reward both ways. I don't know. I'm not going to go. I have to think about it with motivational. I will say this, just looking at the volume profile or the market profile, what does that look like to you? That's a flat bottom, baby. Taper to the top, excess, auction came to a halt, and now it's just a big bunch of nothing going on down here. Do I have the right thing on? Yeah, I do. I would say, without a doubt, there's going lower. Got the same idea right over here. We're right at the POC, so you never know. But, well, the POC's right down here. We're not at the POC, we're damn close. But just looking at it, just visually, that doesn't look right, like a guy with no eyebrows or something. I mean, it's typically, you want to have, the auction needs to come to a conclusion both ways. And that's the whole theory of an auction. You auction it up till you run out of buyers. You auction it down till you run out of sellers. Does that mean it's going to do any of that stuff that I just said? Hell no. Doesn't mean any of that. But it is a possibility. Another complication that I'm dealing with about this whole orb story and why I'm doing this exercise. This orb, this Globex opening range breakout, ends at 1900 because that's when the Asia session starts. So, do I not take any trades past, say, 1830 because that may be encroaching into Asia? Do I not even look at this one, except for last night, it worked out lovely? You know what I mean? Those are thoughts that I have to have in advance. I have to have a plan. These are parts of my plan that need to be fleshed out. Or if I am in a trade, I'm in the trade until I'm not, and whether it's Asia or whatever. As I said before, though, it does seem a lot of the time that we'll get this correction in this Globex, and then it'll fire off the other direction. Not, still taking into consideration just the visuals of it. Looks to me like this has got to come down here, doesn't it? And actually, to be honest with you, IRT is actually indicating that, and I'll show you what I mean. You see this gold line right up here? Those two lines are the balance lines. So there's the gold line at the top. Here's the gold line at the bottom. This thing, for this profile to be balanced, it needs to trade down to here. And what are we doing? We're trading up. We're coming up to the 25, that 50% idea, and maybe as high as this orb. And maybe the thing will turn around and fire the other way, who knows? This always makes me kind of spooky when they start doing this. One other thing that I just noticing here that I would normally pay attention to, the POC and the VWAP. Now, and from the 25, I wouldn't typically short here because the POC's right there. Very high likely possibility that price will react to that. Like it just did right there. Oh, I went through it. And, you know, it came back to the 25 and it may sell right down and put in that extended low like visually it looks like it needs to do. I don't know. I'll be sort of disappointed if that's what happens, but I don't like this price action between you and me and the gate post. I don't like the fact that it had that big squeeze, I guess. There's nothing else to prompt that but a squeeze into the close. And that does pretty much take away the, well, it clears out all of the RTH shorts, pretty much. But what about all those people in the Globex that shorted to get us down to here to start with? You know, that's another one. One of the fellas that came through is in the stream, the RTH stream, Magic. He's got an interesting way to do it. He has a way he constructs basically a box. And if it's a price above the box, it's a long, and below the box, it's a short. And he does real well. He took a big chunk out of it this afternoon. There's a million ways to go at this, you know. And I'm probably too pedantic, I would guess. Well, a 31 now. We're in the final sweep. What do you think? I don't know. This is our volume profile from today. And here we are for the overnight. I got to think of other ways of looking at this. You know, he's looking at the data here. So, assuming I got the right freaking... that's a good idea. Let's see what the difference to this Asia thing does. Where'd that go? Here we go. So we've got 52, 22, and 7. And a little bit less here, pretty close to there, and pretty close here. Not so bad, I guess. Not shocking, anyway. Wait a minute, what happened here? So, if we come across, we haven't crossed the 25 yet, then there should only be a 22% probability that we get to the 50. And 7% we get to the 75. And that's pretty even on both sides, depending on which one broke out first. That's kind of interesting. And I'm not saying I'm making any predictions or no, but they brought it from the lows way below all the way across the range and up and over the IB high to finish up in here today. All that way. There's 1,500 right there. So there's cash close. All of that was between 15 and 1,600. That's one hell of a squeeze, I guess. Basically, this entire bar was red down here below. And now they brought it all the way the other way. Maybe the reflecting pool is... Maybe they were reflecting on the pool. What a goat rope. It's so funny that... first, I find it really amazing that there is so much focus. All the heads of government are focused and money spent and on what I would consider to be completely insignificant stuff, considering all of the things that are going on globally and in the economy. But, it's just me. I'm just one man's opinion. Or am I a man? Or do you know? Maybe I'm an AI deal. You never know. Maybe I'm augmented reality. Well, we got around the 25, and now we've gotten over the IB high, and now are they going to push it up to the 50? I can tell you right now that if they get it up to the 50, I will not be keen to short, especially at this time, because I'm thinking they're going to do something different. And that's not got based on anything except just watching the charts a lot. You know, if they start thinking that there's more to squeeze or they're going to squeeze token. Now, remember that all of the long of the shorts, I mean, this makes sense to me logically. Any shorts that would be left in the market, which weren't squeezed out here, in other words, all those shorts that shorted the market from the close up here down to this open. What is this? Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday? This big drop here? They were probably all Asia traders because it happened overnight. Does that mean that they're prone for a squeeze? I have no idea, but that's just interesting. I think that's an interesting thing to think about. And that happened right there. There was this orb, Asia. Whoop, look out below. There's the big dumperoonie. So all of these people that were shorting all this way down here got some of them squeezed there and they got them short again. And now we've had this drama happen today. Got up there and shorted them down again, and now they squeezed it up to here. And here we are headed for 50. Seems like this level up here, this these highs around whatever that is, 46s, 96s. Seems like those levels around 96 are pretty interesting to a lot of people. Look at there. I mean, no exact level, but boom, boom, boom. Now here we are, just a little below this. Can't get over how easy that program is to look at, to visualize things. I'd be all over the place. The only way I could come close to doing what I just did there is to look at this chart, which is the T-Lab chart that I post every day. And here, this is a full session. So this is Globex, RTH, Globex, RTH, and here we are again. So I could look at this. I had not seen this before. I had not noticed this. What the hell is this chart? 15 minutes, okay. Look at that little six-pack there, huh? This is today's RTH session. And then we get her down here, and they do that one. I'm not even trying to indicate that I know what they're going to do, but here we're going to the 50 though. They're pushing it up here, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to short this, even with a hedge on. I'm more thinking the way to have traded this would have been my original mean reversion idea that I talked about down here. And one of the things about the mean reversion trades that is important to remember, you don't need to worry about a hedge if you don't want to, because this can be an asymmetric trade location, right? You know, you put a long on down here for a mean reversion, you can have your stop point away, because if it goes there, it's wrong. Now, is this going to materialize into something that I'm going to regret not doing? We got within spitting distance of the 50 up here. This could have been a short. 75 to 73, 2 points. I'm going to say no, but let's just look at that. Well, it's at the overnight mid. Okay. What is it? 75 half. Was that my opportunity to short right there? If you interpolate it between the 25 and the 50. Remember, we used the 73 as a hypothetical entry. I'm spooked about it myself. It doesn't seem right to me. Even though the bottom is still flat as Kelsey's nuts, I'll be shocked if I get up in the morning and this is still the case. If this is what the profile looks like in the morning, without any extension down here or over here, I'll be shocked. But I can promise you one thing: nobody cares what I think or me being shocked will mean to anybody. I'm not cavalier enough to be going against the data to go long. So, and I don't think there's any long in the data. I think the only interpretation of this data that shows you about a long is betting on this come here from the mean reversion from the bottom up, which is already paid out, right? You got long down here, put a stop right under here, and up they go, and now you got there, and then pretty soon you're going to get 50, and who the hell knows, maybe they'll go to the overnight, the ETH high again. That's the only way I don't see any way to get this data to show you longs. If anybody knows that's listening to this, or contribute or shoot up a flare or say something or whatever, I would love to know, and I don't. So, got 20 minutes till Tokyo, and let's hope things are a little more conclusive. That to me is gambling. I'm going to have to try these asymmetric trades, though. I think that's a really good idea, actually. And what I mean by that is, I guess, if you don't know, an asymmetric trade location means an asymmetrical relationship between risk to reward. It's not symmetrical, it's asymmetrical. So if you put a long on right here at 65 and you put a stop at 64, saying to yourself, well, if it goes below there, I'm dead wrong. It's the wrong way. You've risked 1 point, and you have the possibility of 65 to 75. There's 10 points. So it's a 10 to 1. Or correctly speaking, it's a 1 to 10 risk to reward. Risk 1 to make 10. That's something that's always bothered me about that way that everybody says that, including me. It's a risk to 10 to 1 risk to reward. Actually, 10 to 1 risk to reward is upside down by 9, completely wrong. That's risking 10 to win 1. It should be 1 to 10. Risk to reward, and that's what this would have been. It would have been a counter trend trade and going against the context, which I certainly don't like to do. But that would be, I'm going to have to focus more on those and with these systems. I use the same methodology during the day in the RTH session. I don't have to draw all these frickin' lines over here because my IRT automatically puts the zones over here. So it puts the initial balance high and low, and then the percent zones. But yeah, I think that's really, and here we go. Look at that, through 50. Wouldn't you be feeling like a regular Einstein now? All Well, there you go. What was that all about? Look at that big selling candle. Did something happen in the news, maybe? Yes, I don't know. I've noticed something since I've been doing these now for 4 weeks. These Globex Stream. Frequently, there's a flurry of action around the Tokyo Open or the Asia Open. And that's a little bit early now, and I have no idea whether that, just a coincidence or what, but that's quite a bit of selling for some reason right there. Why they took it right up to there and then sold her down? What? Low volume node, blue chip, who knows? Oh, look at there. And now this is, talk about the Monkey Boy's ability to spot patterns, but okay, so they came down here and tested 2 or 3 times and then dropped through this, and they took it right to that level. Does that mean something? Don't know. Let's look at something else while we're looking here. What's the volume now? 71% of average for this period of time. At this time, looking back over 20 trading sessions. All right. This thing still has a pretty flat bottom over here. Ironically, when you look at the IRT and the market profile, they look flat and ugly. But if you look at the bookmap market profile for this session, it comes right down to a taper. So, I'd like to be able to tell you that I know exactly why they did that and why what this price level has to do with this over here, but that would be complete BS. I don't have any idea. I mean, it seems to me to be quite a coincidence that they take it right up to there and just flip it around on a heartbeat, and it's the exact same area as over here. But does it mean, does that mean something? Does that have to do with something else? I don't know. Here we are again. Here's that spike up to this low volume node. Yeah, we know that much. And it's the same with these across here. So going where they topped it out before the Globex Open and then this Open. Yeah. I have no idea why that would matter, or what would be the advantage of doing that. That these were the shorts that have gotten in so far, and they squeezed them out up to here. Little stop run, maybe. Is this going the other way now? I think it's going to go the other way without me, though. I don't feel like getting involved in the middle of this short. Doesn't seem like a good idea. It seems a little random to me, and I don't see any data that supports that. The place to have, if I wanted to lean on data, it would have been here. because there is the 22% that we get to the 50 and only a 7% that we make it all the way to 75. So this would have been I guess a logical short, but I don't think that makes much sense. Oh, and there's the close too. There's the RTH close. Right there. I don't know. Maybe. I don't feel good enough about this and all these levels jammed together here to try to put a trade on, and it just doesn't make sense to me. So we'll see what happens at the top of this next hour and with Asia. Remember that the POC is just the price at which the most contracts have traded so far in the session. Right there. Not down here, not up here, but right there. That's the fair, most agreed upon fair price, if by the definition. Also the most likely price to get chopped to pieces. The reason there's the old expression, don't diddle in the middle. I don't see any confirmation for a long, because that's completely counter to any of the data. It's 52, 22, 6. What kind of data points are there, though? That's another question. There's quite a few data points here. Looking back over a year. Last 5 breakdown days. What does this mean? Level 1, level 2, level 3. And these are the days, huh? Okay. What is this? 24th? Yeah, okay. The breakdown days, there's 74 of them in the year. Five reached level 3, 39 reached level 1, and 17 reached level 2, which is 22.5% of the total. That's how they get the math. And I guess that this should be constrained by our session timing here, that's my point. And I guess what we could do is we could look at, okay, let's do this. These are I'm going to make a screen copy because I don't remember shooting. Okay, so we've got that copy now. 52, 22, 7. Basically. But here's the important part down here. 74 days breakdown. 39, 17, and 5. Let's see what happens if we change this session from the 2 hours here to, like, let's see something. What's all night about? Well, here's all night plus. This is from 6 p.m. London, New York, which is 5 p.m. here. Wherever that went, where'd cash go? And then this goes all the way till the next day. What else we got? Let's see what that says. Okay, so we got 74 days, 39, 17, 5. Let's see what happens. Because what I'm hoping is that these sessions that I'm building constrain these data and these numbers. That's weirder yet. That's weirder yet. I'm not sure this makes any sense, because think about it for a minute. If there's 23, how can there be only 23 days that break down when you're looking at the entire Globex from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning? Because they're still based on the first hour. The Globex time frame is still 6 to 7 p.m., 1 hour. Eastern Standard Time? Okay. Now when I put Globex in there, there's 74 days. Oh, something's way off here. Something's completely haywire. I wonder if this damn thing is going around the clock. 5 p.m., today to 7 p.m. tomorrow. I wonder if that's the case. I didn't imagine, but these days are way crazy. And let's look at, here we are selling off, so it would have been a good trade. Oh, I'm so happy. Let's try this one. This I don't think I put this, I think they did. Now there's Asia, and there's only 43 days. And this is supposed to be exactly the same session as the Globex, just looking at it from a different place on the globe. Well, I've got to put together a in-depth bunch of screen snaps and stuff and sort this out, because this is BS there. Oh, there we go. So Tokyo opened up. That's what's going on. All right. Let me get rid of this. Edit this drawing. Slide it over here to 2119. Okay, and we'll get rid of this, and this, and this, and this, and this. There we go. Yeah. Okay. And we'll go look at, we'll stop worrying about, that's really got me bothered now. And here's Asia starting to print right here. So we're okay. But what I'm going to need to do is change this dashboard. So we're going to go from this dashboard, close that one off. To this one. There we go. Wow. That's pretty weird. I don't know what I'm thinking about that's wrong, but that irritates the hell out of me, to say the least. What's our high up here? 43 quarter, yeah? No. 43 quarters. Is that what we got over here? 43 quarter, well, it's the IB, no, it's just below the IB high. Okay, start over. This is so boring. I gotta fix this. I gotta stop being such a... I gotta stop it. Stop being so lazy. But you know, I'm kind of over doing a bunch of stuff. I'm not, as I said before, my mission is not to be some whiz bang 7300. Yeah, my mission is to do this correctly, and that's what I plan to do. Not to be some code, genius. So I was resisting building these indicators and stuff for these Globex sessions until I thought it was going to be something I did, because I've got a lot of, various things I've done over the years that I never look at again. And here we come back down again to the low. So this is what would have happened in Asia. I mean, in the Globex. And then down we go, or up we go, or whatever we're going to do. My mind is preoccupied on this data story. But let's... 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. Double breaks, winning hands down, huh? Well, we're off to the next one now. That was kind of a farce, but this is a perfect example of But I need to deal with how I am going to. Let's assume that I took this trade, which was part and parcel of the. It's still within the zone, still all of that stuff. The retrace back. Now I'd be happy right now because I'd be, in the money. But what would I do? Just let it run over, I guess. The only thing to do. I'm pretty disappointed about that data stuff. I got to put together a series of snaps and some text for this report guy and say, okay, all things being given, the only thing that varies are the two sessions, and one is based from the Asia side, and this is the exact same time from the US side, and why is there such a difference in the data? I think that's the approach. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, by golly. Hey, Magic, you slide back in here to grab a bunch more money. That's really one hell of a trade you did today. I'm really, that was really great to watch. I mean, congratulations. That's super. I'm just, I'm fumbling with something here that's got me pretty buffaloed with the edgeful data. But other than that, yeah, here was our Asia session. Or our Globex, and then they put this little spike in here, which kind of interestingly tops right back at this pullback. I don't know what the hell that might mean. And now we're into the, this is Globex, and now we're into Asia. Started right here, so I'm just watching now and back into the mode. I hope you're okay. The thing that I'm puzzling about with, and maybe this will jump out at you. Here's what I've done with this. This report is Asia, 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. UTC. That's this New York. Now that could be part of the problem. This is New York. Let me just do something different here. But the problem I'm having is when I was looking just now working with the Globex, this Globex is Asia time zone +9. 7 a.m. in the morning to 9 a.m. in the morning. This is the Chicago Globex, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. UTC 5. These are the exact same times on the face of the Earth, just from different points of view. But the data is completely goofy, completely different. Great. Super duper, man. On Asia or on, you're talking about now, right? Cool. Good for you. That's, I'm telling you, I think I need to get, being really constrained and disciplined about this data. But yeah, it's like, son of a gun. Yep. So I'm going to put together some slides and make sure I've got my story straight and that I'm thinking right. And then get on their support because I want to be sure I've got this doing what I think it's supposed to do. So here's Globex from the Asia's point of view from Tokyo. And here is the same exact report with the only thing changed to Chicago Globex. Same exact times, just the other side of the Earth. Big frickin' difference. So I've got to, move on here and think of something else. Quite pisses me off, actually. And these up here were created by Edgeful. These Chicago things I'm done. And this Asia ET, I think, is something they did. They did. I'm going to just I'm going to use this exact same thing here and change it to, I thought I had done that already. Asia, Chicago. Oh well. Onward and upward. This is what I did yesterday. So this is Asia, Chicago, 7 p.m. to midnight. Well, that's what I'll go with tonight. Do you just kind of hit and run magic in and out, like you come in for a couple hours in the RTH 1 session, which is the mornings? Are you familiar? You know Rod, those guys from the T Lab. You know Rod's idea about the RTH 1, 2, 3. It's just there's 450 minutes in a session. The RTH session divided by 3. So RTH 1, RTH 2, RTH 3. Anyway, just a way to divide it up. But you come in the morning and for a couple hours, and then the afternoon for a couple hours, and then the Asia for a couple hours. That'd be that sounds like a good way to go, if you do so. This standing here for 7 to 10 hours a day is a bit goofy. So here we go. 7 p.m. to 9. Blah, blah. Now we got that. I got to make these, get these customizations right. And this is Thursday's trade we're doing. So, depending on which orb formed first, which at the moment is going to be the low. 73 and 27. And I'm saying that because there was the original orb high. I mean, there was the original open. And then we did this, and now we're back up here. Look at Trading View. Yeah, the low is first, and now the high. Well, wait a minute. Maybe I'm full of crap. No, maybe not. Oh, yeah, there's a little gap right here. So this high pushed up, just not by much, but so the lowest place put in first. Oh, cool. That's great. How many trades? None of this is my business, of course, as usual, and I always know that. But how many trades do you reckon you average a day, so to speak, or more or less, or off and on, or whatever? I have to up the game a lot on that, of course. So, whoops. Yeah, of course, right. I know that's a real big story, but oh, that's yeah, that's super and reasonable in my opinion. And that's, yeah, 1 or 2 trades a day I would be fine if I, as far as my basic needs here. And then obviously more is, there's nothing wrong with more money. Been surprisingly quiet on the geopolitical front the last couple of days. Tomorrow we got a bunch of news out, which is going to probably have an impact on the market because it's all basically economy data, housing stuff and GDP and, hold on, I'm looking for the gizmo here. Yeah, there's a PCE, GDP, durable goods, initial job claims. Those things I think tip the, feed into the economic deal, which is obviously important. And Trump is this is 1500. Okay, never mind. Oh, Jesus, is he talking to somebody now? Okay, yeah. Okay. Good for you. Good for you. By a couple left, you mean runners, I guess, right? Yeah, scaling out's a good idea when you got your target, basic target hit, and then let them go. I agree with your analysis that the way to make any serious money is let the winners run. That's for sure. Look at this goofy looking stuff now compared to where we opened. I don't know whether you were still online or not. Did you see the closing today? They took it from the lows when we were all still talking all the way up through the IB high into a new high. In that last closing swing trade, and yeah, me too. And let that whole thing run. I was just amazed. Here you go. This is 1,500. This is the cash close right there. This is all between the cash close and market close is 1,600. This entire push up through the IB high and up here again. Not new high of the day, but you know. Pretty amazing squeeze. It's pretty funny on a, I made a screen grab of it. Look at that. And the POC doing the do-si-do around here. There you are. There's the cash close, and look at that. Jesus. I'm starting to wonder if I'm, yeah, there you go. Starting to wonder if I'm smart enough to be dealing with the data thing because of these time zones. I'm fairly good with time zones, having lived around a little bit. Some of this stuff is bothering me. The differences are bothering me. I don't think it's because of my time zones. I think it's the way that the way the times are being probably recorded in the data set and of Edgeful, I would suppose. And maybe, I mean, if the guy comes back and says, yeah, well, we have all of our stuff formatted for Eastern Standard Time, well then, okay, to hell with it. I'll just use me too. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, but I want the data to be right, obviously. What my goal has been with these different zones, for example, this, the Globex deal, I want to have the data filtered and presented for just this time frame, not for, from the entire night, for example, the entire ETH period. That doesn't do me any good. I want to know what the stats are for the opening range, or in this case for the globe. I finally worked out last night that the data is all, I think the data has to turn over 12 o'clock before it starts to make sense to itself and for the day filters. So last night I worked this up from just the 7 to 2100 up to 1205 before it finally looked like it came right to me. So I'll take a picture of that, send it to their support, and see what they come up with. Yeah, the thing with data, was a database manager and a systems guy for quite a while, so I think I can get around it. But if you don't know how they've got their tables set up and the back end, for filters and stuff, well, there you go. So, in one of my other lives, but that was different data. I was using CQL or SQL filters and, queries and stuff. Well, what are we going to do here, girls? Let's see. Low keeps sneaking down. Top is holding its own. Go over to 64.5 and 73.25, huh? Well, it needs to go down a little bit more then, doesn't it? I've got to get these zones indicators built for these orb things if I'm going to do this, because drawing all these freaking blue lines around here is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Where am I going here? What am I trying to do? There we go. Well, I always trade my live account except now. These are, where is the goddamn thing? These are Lucid. Oh, I haven't even set that up yet. Duh, football. Thanks for reminding me. Where am I? There they are, yeah. These are Lucid accounts, 5 of them, because I needed to practice or try to work out this hedge thing that Anton has come up with. And I don't want to risk my money. I was trading my live amp account always here, and but I wanted to de-risk, right? So I thought rather than just sim, I can trade ample size contracts. In this case, it's 5 micros and then another 5 or 10 micros and 1 mini. That's how the hedge works out. And I can still get payouts. So it beats just trading sim and practicing or replay, Globex, book map or something like that. So and there's been such changes in the prop space since when I started with Topstep first, before I traded my own stuff first, and then I heard about this prop thing, and that sounded like a great idea. Somebody else's money, right? So I first got started. You had to pass the contract, what did they call it? The evaluation twice. The 50K evaluation was about $250 or some a month, and it didn't go away. The combine, they called it. You had to pay it. You had to do it twice and keep paying. The second time there was a scale up in contract size. The first one, I think you had 5 minis, and the second one, but then you had to start with like 2, and then you get to 1,500, you have 3, and the profit target was 3,000. And then they would move you or not, maybe, into the live account. Now, with this Lucid thing, it's, you know, $50 or something or less, and one time. As long as you keep trading it, like I think one trade a month or something like that. And it can get payouts and move to a live account automatically and whatever else. So it made sense to me to try that rather than just put this on simulator and get nothing. And also, this is, you know, rhythmic data, and the fills are pretty accurate because once about last week I put a trade on. I put a trade on here. What do you mean, phase one? Are you talking about what I'm doing now? These are the first stage evaluation. It hasn't hit the profit target yet. These are 25K ones, so that's 20 micros or 2 minis, and yeah, I don't, man, I'm a real donut when it comes to playing this prop shop game, and I would really like to learn. So, I mean, I need to. And so what I'm trying to do now is, these are Flex, Lucid Flex, 25Ks, 5 of them. And that may not be the... Oh, these are evals. I didn't know you could buy a live account. Okay. Okay, thank you. And look at us go down here. Yeah, I've got to learn how to do this prop game. That's for sure. And I see a lot of people doing it, and it looks to me like there's a lot of people that are making good money doing it, and really, it makes sense. I mean, when you stop and think about it from a risk to reward point of view, now that you don't have monthly reoccurring payments, I can't imagine. I'm afraid to go back and look at how much money I've paid Top Step or something over the years. Yeah, I did Flex. Didn't know you could do I don't think there was an option to do direct live when I did this, which is about a month ago, you know, or something. So great. I'm glad you know about it. I'll pester your ass. I've got it. I want to get these passed, and then get on the payoff story. Yes, I know. Now, I'm not... So what do you mean? It's funded, not live. I'm not sure what you mean by the difference there. Maybe I need to go back and look at the offerings. There was some offering that I tried to get. What was the name of that? And it was not available at the time or something. They said maybe that was it. I don't know. Yeah, so these I had never even heard of Lucid or all these new outfits. You know, I had heard of obviously Top Step and Apex, which I would never have anything to do with, and I don't know, maybe one or two others, some that I don't even think are around anymore. What do you mean by the difference between funded and not live? Okay, there you go. Oh, okay, so that's, all right, okay. I see what you're talking about. Got it, yeah. Understood, thanks. Well, we've crossed the 30 minutes and we're heading up the other side for the 1 hour here. They've pushed it down a little bit. They keep poking the low lower, so it looks to me like we're going to have the IB high formed first, the OB high formed first, which means that the data is going to get over here, which means it'll be this one. Oh, I didn't know about that one. Okay. That's would be interesting. That would beat the hell out of this. I'm sure I'll be upside down somehow or another on the 50% consistency thing too. And once I have this, you know, the minute that well, I shouldn't say that. If this works out good and you can withdraw money and you're working on somebody else's cash, why not? I guess. Why put your own money at risk? You know, especially when I'm trying to figure this, make sure I've got this hedge thing figured out, which looks great on a lot of sides, but the big problem I have is taking which leg to take off and when. So that's why I'm real keen about risk management here. I got to get geared up for some lovely dinner my wife is whooping up. She said 15 minutes, so I suppose that'll be just about at the top of the hour when I need to be doing something here. Well, that's cool. I'm glad to know that you know all about that stuff. I'll definitely be pinging you. Or pestering you anyway. Not pinging you, but pestering you. And the way this is going, I'm here all the time, so. I'll have to go back. One thing I definitely did do was confirm with them that I can do this. The hedge is perfectly legal. Also with AMP. And I had originally opened a Tradevate account or Tradevite or whatever it's called, with their prop thing, but all of us they don't support Rhythmic, only CQG. So they actually gave me my money back. Because I'm all tied into these platforms. Oh, cool. Well, then you're the pro, dude. What, you know, it's something that I see advertised on YouTube, and I thought to myself about I should get an evaluation. This shit where you give us your evaluation thing and we pass it and you don't pay us a penny until you get your first payout and all that stuff. And they advertise Lucid. I don't know about Lucid, but they advertise Funded Trader and Top Step and all these different people. And I've Googled around about it, and it doesn't seem like it's a scam, but it sounds pretty weird to me. Yeah, there's got to be some hook in it that I'm not figuring out, but here we go, loop-de-loo. So had I taken my orb trade signal and not worried about the crossover into Asia, it was a short right here at the 50, essentially the 50, because this the high here is just about exactly at the 50% of the orb, I think. Let's look. Boop. Pretty close. Here's the 50. So we got right up here. And I was according to the data, short. And we'd be down here. Good for you. Yeah, I bet you are. That's great. Congratulations. I'm thinking that maybe I won't focus on this opening range, the Globex, this first hour, or 2 hours, and just kick into the actual Asian session. I think that's what you do, is it not? Congratulations. So you've had a great day today. That's super. That's what I've got to get in the loosen up and get in that mode. I got to start getting some payouts. Yeah, I thought those things. If it's the old story, right? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Well, what's going on over here? Let's see. There we are. We've got about another little bit to go. We've got a ways to go here. We got a few minutes, 20 minutes. Assuming that this is correct. The orb highs first. That means we got a 59% probability of taking the low. That doesn't surprise me. And then that ending zone is a real big deal. That thing has a real effect. Mm, 54, is that right? Yep, 54s and 23/4. Okay. All right. Well, cool. All right. Last night is where I had that nice trade. I mean, the only one in these 4 weeks, that I've been doing. This is the first one that I fit right into all the edge full data, and I put the hedge, and the hedge never triggered. So I threw a trailing stop in behind it, just a regular stop in after price had moved away by the stop distance, and then trailed it up and got lucky. I like your technique of getting on them fast. That has always bothered me. And that's one of the things about the initial balance high and these orb trades is you wait for a freaking hour. Now the orb trade, I could set it for whatever time frame I wanted to, 30 minutes or 15 or whatever else it is. But I've always thought that, just like just let me get on one, like I was saying earlier today, that swing high, swing low, and then take the other side or whatever you do and go for it. Seems like you trade pretty quick like that. Yeah, okay. I'm being knocked on by the girls here. I'm going to step away for a second and have something to eat, and I'll be back pretty quick. Nice talking to you, by the way. Thanks for dropping in. Well, okay, and we're done. Done like dinner with our big Orby Dorby. So let's see what we have here for the Zonaroonies. We have 73 quarter and 53. Oh, 20 handles. There you go. Now I need to get the orb thing going. 53. Oops. Is that right now, or did I do something wrong? I feel like I did something wrong. 73 quarter and 53 flat. Okay. Now I'll put these zones in. 68 quarter. And 63 quarter. And 58. By the time I did this, yeah, and they've done it as well. They did it to me as well. By the time I got through with those zones, they'd already put in, taken the IB low, or the orb low, and that's what's happened just now. Again, too, también. Yep, the low was taken out, and what's the closing zone is 0 to 24. Custom 0 to 24. So 82% probability we're going to take out the low, which was already done. So that's not a big surprise. And now we're into the only possibility I have now is the retracement stuff, because that's all I can do. So 69%, 70% we're going to get up to 25. 44% will get to 50. So I would say that I'll interpret the difference here, and about POC, was where I would be thinking is short. On the project here. Okay, what are we doing? Who's on third? What's going on? We haven't pulled back. We did take it out, I think, didn't we? Yep, the low. Okay. So we need to get back into the zone. If I wasn't doing the stream, probably I would just watch TradingView over here for the zones and then put the trades on however I saw them happening on the book map. But I don't think that works so well. Okay. What are we doing in the big picture here? Well, they got that bottom end filled out. I really don't know what to think about this. I was kind of wondering if there was going to be a squeeze on for Asia, but I don't think so. My typical cutoff is 2030 here. Make sure I've got everything set up here if I need to. One contract, that's the thing. 5, the thing. Okay. Yeah, one day when things are kind of quiet, if you're still in here, Magic, one day when things are kind of quiet, or if you think about it, just from your experience, the best lucid evaluations or way to approach lucid from a point of view of getting payouts and running them up? Like your direct thing, which I had not heard about, and whether it's the Flex or the Pro, whatever. I haven't, as you might imagine, I don't know anything, or I mean, I'm sure you can tell I don't know much about it. In the days when I was doing props, it was like I said, there was not a, the only thing you chose was the amount of the supposed amount, 50K or whatever, which of course is only $3,000 account. Yeah. So, yeah. No trade here yet. No trigger here yet. They better hurry up because that nice big dinner I ate is gonna, I'm gonna be having a food coma here pretty quick. I suspect. Hey, Panda. Well, we made it up to the 25. So let's imagine the 60. I think I'll be looking for the 50 here because of this big low volume area. And the POC, I don't know whether that's even remotely doable or not, but that's my thinking at this moment. Oops, wrong window. Sorry about that. What I'm thinking about here is that rather than this, you know, interpolated area right in here is that's the high volume, or oh wait, that's this low volume node. I'm looking at the days volume. Ugh, football, never mind, I'm tired. This is definitely the low volume zone now, right up here. Well, this is getting right up against my shut off here. I normally close the stream off and call it a night at the bottom of the hour. I'm looking at an entry if it pulls back to the 63 area here, which is about the extreme of the data. But I'm running out of time and energy and, you know, everything else. Which is fine. If I don't have a setup by the time the session closes, then that's what happens in a trigger. And I don't take any trades off of the stream, so that's that. That is that. Well, going the other way. Did I shoot myself in the foot here by winning that 50? I don't know how to deal with this stuff, actually. Guess my opportunity was that touch of the RTH VPOC from the looks of it. Excuse me. Well, I think I'm going to, well, I might keep it going for a little while. Hey, Panda. Panda's so funny. She doesn't like the feel of that. They better hurry. They're pushing their luck here at the bottom of the hour, and the old man is tired. think I'm going to check it to you guys. Magic, if you're around, thanks. Appreciate the conversation and the feedback. I'll pick your brain some more about what those lucid accounts at some point if you're here. If not, I hope you're having a great night and super trading. Good trades today and then here in the Globex. So you're hitting on all cylinders, man. That's good. Hi, Panda. Yeah, what now? Well, here we go for the 50. Man, they always do this, right? As I'm getting ready to shut this thing down. Son of a gun. Oh, man. Yeah, well, now they're going to ram it back up for another short or what? I don't know what to say here. That was a pretty nasty short squeeze going into the close. I would hate to get on the wrong side of one of them tonight. This was a case where the mean reversion side of the data would have paid off. But who the hell knows? Excuse me. I think I'm going to wind the stream up and get my chores done here and haul my hide to bed. Going to be pretty disappointed if that VWAP is exactly where they turn this thing around and I'm standing here watching them. But that looks pretty much like that's the case. I guess I blew that opportunity, huh? Oh well. It's past the time. All right, I'm going to call this a night and get my on the stream, get set up for tomorrow morning. Nice talking to you, Magic. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 0800 Central Standard Time or at some point through the RTH session. Thanks a lot for coming by. I really appreciate it. And like, subscribe if you haven't already. And always contribute in the chat. That's really big help. Have a great evening. Do something fun for yourself. I'm going to get away from this before I get so frustrated that I stood here all this time and didn't take advantage of that setup. So, there you go. See you tomorrow.